I just literally dive into the things that I'm afraid of, the better my life gets, the stronger I become. My resilience and my resolve is like at an all-time high. And it really has just shifted my life tremendously, with me not letting my fears hold me back from experiencing and overcoming things that I really feel called to overcome and experience. So if that is something that resonates with you, if you find yourself like either struggling with, doing the things that you're afraid of, or you realize that, like I'm diving into all the things that I'm afraid of and I'm just going to tackle them head on, then this video is going to be for you, because we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about how releasing fears actually attracts all the things that you want to yourself. Okay, let's go. So welcome to Empress Expressions. My name's Amber and I'm the Empress here. I welcome you if you're returning or you are new. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so grateful to have you here. So we are talking about releasing fears to attract what you want, what you desire, whether that be a thing, a person, a lifestyle, whatever that may be. Fear, I swear, fear is the number one thing that keeps us separate from what it is that we actually want. Fear. So I have about 3 points here, and I'm going to start off with awareness of fear. So if you notice, some of this content that I put out, a lot of it is about becoming aware of a thing, right? So the awareness of fear, acknowledging the fear, is the first step to releasing its grip on your desires. And the example that I have is starting this YouTube channel. If you've been following along, you've heard me say that like I attempted to start this YouTube channel like 5 years ago. And I think I put out like 2 or 3 videos and I literally fell off because I became paralyzed. I became paralyzed through so many different things. But the number one thing was fear. Fear of not being perfect, fear of messing up, fear of people not liking my content, just fear. And so once I became aware of the fear and didn't allow it to direct me, right? I directed it. That's when things changed. That's when I was like, you know what? I'm about to do this YouTube channel. And it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to show up as myself, however corny, funny, serious, goofy, airheaded, whatever, however I show up, it's how I show up. And it's okay. And I think that releasing the fear of being a certain type of way, speaking a certain type of way, having certain type of content, editing, once I just released all that and I was like, this is just going to be a process. This is going to be a journey. I'm not going anywhere fast. There is no destination. Once I really was able to acknowledge that I was afraid of all these different things, that's when I actually was able to lean into creating the YouTube channel. And now I'm at over 100 videos and the channel is growing at a pretty, significant rate. But all of that, I say all that to say that I wouldn't be at this point and still growing if I hadn't just leaned into the fear, if I hadn't just released the fear and the judgment, right, of myself and of all the things. Number 2, owning vulnerability. So being able to say, I am afraid, right? It makes you human. Also opens you up to be seen and supported. So many people around want support and encouragement. We just have to allow that to happen and for that to come into for us and to be that for others. So one of the things that I realized was that once I acknowledged that I was fearful, I was able to lean into the vulnerability. I was able to own my vulnerable side of just admitting it. whether it was just to myself or if it was to, you know, a friend, whatever, just to like, I'm afraid of rejection with the channel. I'm afraid that people aren't going to like my content. I'm afraid that I'm going to mess up and have to do all this editing. I'm afraid that I'm going to get tongue-tied. Like all these different things. Once I just was like, I'm afraid of these things, right? These things are fearful to me. I literally opened myself up to so much support. Like I've gotten so much positive feedback from this channel, from, you know, family members to friends to just people that I'm just now connecting with on this channel that are like, Amber, you're doing a great job. Like, thank you for sharing this. Thank you for doing this. Like, and I take that, right? I take that support. I take and allow them to witness me, right? And you see how that works as well, in the sense of like, I don't necessarily always have to say, oh, I'm so afraid, I'm so afraid, I'm so scared. Just admitting that to myself has allowed people to show up and support me, because I'm showing up for me. I'm showing up for the channel. I'm showing up for y'all. I feel like I have content and information that could help. I'm showing up, and in return, I'm getting support. I'm being seen, right? I'm being seen for who I am and what it is that I have to offer to the world. And so I don't feel like I'd be in this position to receive that support and to be witnessed if I hadn't first at least started with like being vulnerable with myself and just admitting that, okay, this is kind of scary. This is unknown. You're literally putting yourself out there to the world. There's a lot of unknowns that can happen, like, but you're still doing it. So vulnerability, vulnerability is so powerful. Like I know for me specifically, I do have the type of personality where naturally, and maybe it's not even natural. Honestly, I'd probably have to say a lot of it is conditioning and just the way that I was raised and just the family that I grew up in. Like, you kind of just had your shit together all the time. Whether you had your shit together or not, you 9 times out of 10 look like you had your shit together. And so I do feel like a little bit of that is naturally me, because I do have a very like, I have a lot of like leader type qualities about myself. I have a lot of like trailblazer, kind of make up my own rules as I go kind of qualities about myself. So some of that is natural, but then some of it is conditioned, in the sense of like being afraid of being vulnerable, being afraid of not having it all together, being afraid to say that I'm afraid, right? So yeah, all that right there, all that. Number 3, trust and surrender. So you activate your trust in yourself and the universe, right? And surrender to the flow of life. This can dissolve fear and open the doors to have what you desire. The example that, let's see, what else did I write here? So the example that I have here is like longing for a fulfilling, loving relationship. So, which can require you to surrender to the process of love, right? Detaching from specific outcomes and embracing the journey of an open heart. Self-love and self-care might be practices that you will engage in. So trust and surrender, man. Okay, so like specifically with relationships, that's a biggie. Like that is huge, to trust and surrender. When you are getting to know someone, it's kind of required, if you actually want to have an authentic connection with somebody, if you actually want to build a foundation with someone that's authentic and real, and the foundation is solid, because it's not going to be a solid foundation if it's built up on holding back, right? Especially if you're holding back on purpose. So yeah, surrender and trust, like being able to trust yourself. Like a lot of it is, it's not that we don't trust other people, it's that it really kind of comes, and there are parts of it where you don't trust another person. I'm not going to try to disclaim that or anything like that. But there is this other side of it, is like not trusting ourselves, not trusting the universe is literally like helping this whole thing unfold. Like there's this co-creation thing that's going on between you and the universe. So having a hard time trusting yourself is going to, you know, result in you having a hard time trusting the universe. And then it's definitely going to have a effect on the surrendering process, right? You have to be able to surrender to the opening of your heart when you are connecting with somebody, right? Now you can take lessons and stuff and, you know, experiences that you've had in the past, and you may set some boundaries in order to protect yourself in a sense from what you've already experienced per se, or to like sometimes you go through things, you learn lessons, and those lessons are not to be forgotten, right? But then there's this beautiful balance, there's this interplay of, you know, I've learned a lesson, but I'm still surrendering, right? But in order to surrender, you really do have to move into a space of detaching from outcomes. So it's like you've gathered the lesson from an experience, but now you are you're required to surrender into another experience. I hope that makes sense. So, yeah, like trust and surrender is big, but I don't feel like those can come until after you're aware of the fear and you can be vulnerable. Because to surrender, there's a huge part there for vulnerability. Like sharing yourself with another person. If you are looking for a loving relationship, there's vulnerability that happens before you surrender. And sometimes it even happens simultaneously. So releasing fears in order to have what you want is so big. It's so big. Like, it's huge. It really, really is huge. I feel like Spirit is trying to bring something else through right now for me to say, but there's no words for it right now. But yeah, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated with you, and I hope that you understand that having fears is totally normal. It's normal. It's okay. Just become aware of them. Give yourself compassion, you know, lean into the vulnerability of yourself. Be okay with your vulnerable side. And then you'll see yourself being able to trust and surrender. And that'll go with anything. That'll go with love relationships, platonic relationships. That'll go with your money. You know, if you're starting a business venture, trusting and surrendering into that. Trusting your intuition, trusting the guidance that's being given to you. Acknowledging that, hey man, like I'm afraid that this may not work out. Hey, but it's okay. But I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep doing it because I have a desire, and the desire is to have a successful business. So I'm gonna continue to keep going because my desire is what's driving me, not my fear. Not my fear. I'm just acknowledging my fear. So that's what I've got for you. If you're still here, clearly you are vibing with me and my energy, and you're digging the content. So drop some stuff down in the comments below. Let me know that you're here. If it resonates, let me know. Don't forget to like this video, share and subscribe if you feel called to. And if you are interested, I also have down in the description box the link for your Living Soul profile. If you're interested in knowing what the Living Soul profile is, there is a playlist on this channel that is called Living Soul, and there are several videos in there that break down what the Living Soul guidance system is, so go check that out. And if you decide to get your Living Soul Profile Report and you want help understanding what you received, just tap into me and I am your certified profiler and I can help you understand that better. And the ebook is still in the works. It is a beautiful thing that's coming together. Super excited about gifting that intro book to you all. If you're interested in that, email me at soulwisdomcare@gmail.com. Introduce yourself, let me know who you are. And when that book is released, of course, let me know that you're interested in the book. But when that book is released, I'll send you one directly, okay? And that book is really touching on the coaching part of the of my Empress Expressionz brand and business. So that is what I have. So hey, thank you so much for being here. And in the meantime, the in between time, I send you peace, I send you light, and I send you love. Bye.